Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the TexAgs High School Football Show, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Academy has all your high school football road trip needs this season. Get the right gear for the long season with free curbside pickup today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the TexAgs High School Football Show, the Week 6 edition. Little different setup. Jason, in the same setup, I am at our 12 Baseball Academy weight room just running errands. We're filming this on Thursday morning. We typically film it on Wednesday afternoon. If you're not familiar with Texas A&M recruiting, we had a little busy day yesterday. So the announcement of DJ Hicks committing to Texas A&M about 3:30 yesterday had our schedules all over the place. But we're here. We're going to record this today as we get ready to go on the road tonight. So if we can, Jason, just a quick recap of what you saw last week there in Dallas, and we'll get to my weekend in Houston and then move ahead to this week.
Well, I started it off last week on Thursday night with a little Tyler High, McKinney North at McKinney ISD Stadium. Got to see Derek McFall, running back out of Tyler High. He was the main objective for my purposes, anyways. But you know, he's doing a lot of work at quarterback and threw the ball a lot better than I expected, but had 13 carries for 99 yards. Had some flashes where he took off and ran and showed those wheels that has everybody so excited. But had two touchdowns passing and about 220 yards through the air. So very interesting night, but it was a big night for McKinney North at the end of the night, 34-13. They stepped away from Tyler High there in the second half and made it a multi-score ball game there before it was over. And then on Friday, I was at Little Elm to see Denton Geyer take on the Lobos there in Little Elm to get a good look at the Bowen brothers, Peyton and Eli, and they did not disappoint. Those two guys, I've seen them multiple times this year already, but my goodness, they are something else. They completely locked down the side of the field, and Little Elm really didn't want to go at them too often. Peyton's biggest contribution was a touchdown return on the kickoff, and anyways, on a punt. It was a punt return, my bad. He had a long return where he weaved through the Little Elm defense or return team and just stepped away. I think there wasn't anybody in 20 yards of him when he crossed the goal line. It was really, really impressive. Showed his speed. Geyer looks like $1 million. Jackson Arnold continues to light it up, and they're doing big things out there in Denton. So that was my weekend.
Yeah, I had a 3-game weekend, and really as different of a topography trip as you could possibly take in the state of Texas. I started on Thursday night there in Smithson Valley on the north side of San Antonio and saw them take on New Braunfels Canyon. Really dominant night by the Smithson Valley team, and the Smithson Valley offense controlled the ball. I mean, I think out of the first half, the Rangers probably time of possession New Braunfels Canyon by 3 or 4 to 1 in the first half. I mean, it was just ridiculous how long they were keeping the ball and sustaining drives. Obviously, a lot of that behind Texas A&M offensive line commit Colton Thompson. But, man, I think Smithson Valley's got a pretty complete team, even without 2024 standout receiver Freddie Dubose, who is lost for the year with a knee injury. Gavin Woods, one of their linebackers, he's got offers from the service academies, makes a ton of plays, 6'2", 217 pounds. Really good player. They got a great kicker in Clayton Amaya, who has been good from 50+. And so they play a really like kind of controlling type of game. And have really started to find their identity without Freddie Dubose. And then so they pull away from New Braunfels Canyon. I do want to say Deuce Adams at New Braunfels Canyon, their quarterback, 2024 quarterback, pretty skilled kid, man, and fun to watch, and can create from all different types of arm angles. Didn't have a ton of time to throw the other night, but I thought
Got some pretty
when they
good
were able to
genes.
block, Smithson Valley, I liked what I saw, and I think he's no
Yeah.
doubt a college quarterback. I don't know kind of where he fits just yet, but I think he's a college player. Then Friday, stayed the night in Blanco, Texas, at the Blanco River Hotel.
There you go.
Very nice area. It's beautiful. I mean, you're
Yeah.
driving. So on Friday, I was at Austin Westlake, Lake Travis. So the drive from North San Antonio to the west of Austin is just gorgeous. Like,
Yeah.
I could do that every day. But Friday night, Battle of the Lakes there. And really, Lake Travis, they hung around for a while, and they did it behind a backup quarterback, some really young talent on the defensive side. And they kept them in the game, and I thought they played well for, man, 2.5, almost 3 quarters before Austin Westlake really got it going. And they ultimately win by 2 scores. A&M commit TJ Shanahan was really good on the night. You've seen him before, Jason. I mean, every snap is a fight with that guy. I mean, it's to the whistle with serious attitude. May play with the most edge of the offensive lineman I've ever covered.
He's different.
It's fun
man.
to watch. Yeah, he is. And then Notre Dame commit Jayton Greathouse. Had 2 touchdown catches, was really good on the night.
Super
and
impressive
I think
when I saw him too. Yeah.
And it looks like he's trimmed down a little bit. You know, we were working, like, he got big and bulky this offseason. Looks like he's really worked on his fitness, and he's cut some of that body. He was never sloppy, but he was always a bigger, bulkier kid, maybe like a Jordan Whittington whenever he came out of Cuero. And he's cut that body fat down, or his body composition down, moving way better, and looks like a legitimate playmaker there. And Notre Dame will that's a good player. They found a really, really talented player, because, you know, you kind of judge the balance between prospect and player. Do they show up on Friday nights, or are they just a really pretty kid that runs fast and shows up in camp? And Jaden Greathouse, he shows up in big moments there.
He's shown up for the last 3 years. So this is going on 4 years now for him. So,
and I was actually able to take in a Saturday game. So I talked about the difference in geography and topography. So you go from the hill country to Sugar Land, and that's what happened to me on Saturday. I went down to see Fort Bend Marshall take on Port Neches Groves. Wanted to see Fort Bend Marshall. They're one of the schools that I always enjoy watching. Some really intriguing prospects. I think they're not committed to A&M, but they're going elsewhere. Jacoby Banks looks like, in the city of Houston, he looks like this year's version of Anaya Smith. And I even said it on our message boards. Like, it'll be interesting to see what happens at A&M in receiver, and if that's something they entertain, because, I mean, it's almost identical from size, the play style, to how he's utilized in the offense. It's very similar.
Now, I know he brings that quickness, but what about that straight line speed there with him?
Yeah, that's why I said it's like Anias. You know, Anias doesn't blow the doors off of anybody in a straight line speed content. He's not Devon Achane. But he creates for himself. He's tough after the catch, plays with an attitude and a chip on his shoulder. So I don't know that A&M will do anything there, but we'll see going forward. I always enjoy interacting with Jacoby. And I'll tell you who I was really impressed with was TCU defensive line commit Zach Chapman. So this kid that actually played through a knee injury the last 3 or 4 games of his sophomore season, missed the entirety of his junior season because of that knee injury. Now he's back to 100% at 6'6", 250 pounds, and he's playing like a wrecking ball. And he jumped over the line of scrimmage and blocked a short field goal. He had his hands up in the face of the PNG quarterbacks all day. And Fort Bend Marshall ends up pulling away from the Indians there late, and really kind of starts showing their class, and really comfortable win. And that might be in 5A Division II. It's not a super deep region in Region 3. Like Fort Bend Marshall and PNG might be the 2 best teams in the region. So if that's the case, Fort Bend Marshall really put a pin down and really put a marker down on kind of who they are in that division, in that classification. But I got to say it, man. I said it on TexAgs radio. The Fort Bend Marshall coaching staff is extremely high on their freshman group, to the point where, like, I was going to different coaches separately, and they were all telling me the same stuff. Like, hey, we got a good club this year. Our freshman team is incredible. Like, our freshman group's incredible. And then they said they got the next Devon Achane. So we'll see what happens going forward in that class. But Fort Bend Marshall don't like they're going anywhere anytime soon. Jason, where are you at tonight and the rest of the weekend?
I'm off tonight, but on Friday I've got Louisville Capel. Gonna go see a little Braxton Meyer, Jaden Hardy DB matchup. Should be a lot of fun. Louisville only got one loss on the season. Capel's undefeated, and should be a lot of fun district matchup here. So really excited. I get to stay close to home too. This will be about 10 minutes down the road for me. So be real nice to drop in there and see the farmers and see everything go down.
Well, we should say too, this is an enormous bye week in the
Yeah,
state of Texas. I think I saw that on Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I think Tepper was saying over a third of the high school teams in the state of Texas are on bye.
there's quite a
So
few.
it's
Yeah,
pretty slim pickings in Houston and Dallas and across the state. Tonight, I'm going to the east side of Houston to see
yeah.
CE King take on North Shore. And then tomorrow really wasn't a lot on the slate where I felt like I really needed to get out to see. But I'm going to go right down the road to see Montgomery take on Lake Creek in a rivalry game. Lake Creek got some young kids that potentially in the future are power, like in the near future, could be Power 5 offer kids. I'm talking about Ty Byers, their 2025 running back, a name that will be familiar for A&M fans, Hunter McKinney. He's the son of former A&M offensive lineman and Houston Texans offensive lineman and TexAgs contributor Steve McKinney. He's starting as a freshman on the offensive line there at Lake Creek, 6'2", 6'3", 260 pounds. Pretty good pedigree. Like I said though, on
Yeah.
radio, if he gets his athleticism from his mama's side, I bet he's got a chance.
No doubt, no doubt. Before we get too far into this week, were there any scores or anything that caught your attention from last week?
Well, yeah, I mean, you had the wild
Mm-hmm.
Cinco Ranch, Morton Ranch that
Yeah.
showed there in Katy. I think it was 77-63 final.
Jeez.
I mean, defense optional. There was, God, I think I'm missing a big one too that like really stood out
Well,
from an upset standpoint. God, and you talk, I'll think.
so I got a few here in the DFW East Texas area. First, Longview Lancaster, 21-13. Longview pulls out the win at home. I think Taylor Tatum had a couple touchdowns to help separate there, but great battle. I'm gonna be honest, man. Lancaster's look really, really good. They're a team to watch there in that division. DeSoto with the big home win over Waxahachie. Waxahachie is a team to watch. It was a 42-24 win for DeSoto, but I'm telling you, Waxahachie is going to be a problem for some teams. That they're a strong bet for that. I'm putting them there in my third spot in that district that also has Duncanville. So look for Waxahachie to make some noise. Parish Episcopal with another big win, 24-16 over China Spring. Their only loss so far is to Sauk, and they've beaten Alito, they've beaten China Spring, and they beat somebody else that was really stinking good. But they've stepped out in the UIL territory, really send a message. They're definitely one to watch there in the TAPS division. I'm sure Walker Lott will have plenty to say about that. At Stephenville over Wichita Falls Rider, 43-42. In a really
Stephenville's got a big one this week, I feel like, too.
They've had talk about non-district
I think
schedule,
is it
man.
Brownwood this week?
I'll be honest, I haven't looked that far, and I haven't looked at their schedule for this week. But man, they're going to be fun to watch this year, and they're doing some work early in the season.
Well, I saw two teams that I wanted to mention. I remember Katy Jordan.
Oh yeah, that was
school,
yeah.
And they put up a bunch of points on Katy Pato, and who we know is loaded on defense. Katy Jordan throws it around. Really good young receivers, Zach Sample, Andrew Marsh, good young running back, and Chad Gasper.
Yeah.
Really intriguing team there. It's really not even Katy. They're in Fulshire. That's how far south Katy has grown. But them, and then I want to give a shout out to New Caney, because New Caney has slowly just kind of knocked people off under the radar. They beat the Woodlands. They held the Woodlands, I think, to 14 points. And they're on the northeast side of Houston. Kind of in that Atascocita, they get overshadowed by Atascocita and CE King and Summer Creek, that whole area. I think New Caney's going to be around for a long haul. And then, their running back, Kedrick Riscano, has been fantastic for them. Michigan State commit has been really, really good for them so far this year. So I'm keeping an eye on the Eagles there. Jay, anything else, Jason?
Yeah, I just want to drop a few games of note for some people out there maybe looking for a nice little matchup this weekend. Colleen Shoemakers at Red Oak. That should be a big district matchup there. I think both teams only have one loss on the year. Shoemaker may be undefeated. Shoemaker came off a 1-point win over Lake Belton and Micah Hudson. So they can play some ball, and Red Oak and Lake Belton went into overtime before Lake Belton was able to pull it out. So that should be a fun ball game. Got Grapevine and Colleyville Heritage and
Battle of the Rail.
Yeah. So I mean that's gonna be fun. With a lot of those offenses have been fun to watch, very potent, and should be some points put on the board.
Kirk Martin has turned Colleyville Heritage he's going in the direction of what he did at Manville.
And there's talent there, man. That's a great area. I mean, there's a lot of talent in that area, and that program has a history. You know, Christian Ponder back in the day, and you know, you've had several guys come out of there. So you know, it's a deep history, and Coach Martin, no doubt about it, he's going to have that program looking right. So,
any more?
that was pretty much it for me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then one for me to keep an eye on. Crosby travels to Port Arthur Memorial, 5A Division I, huge 5A Division I district game there. Port Arthur Memorial in the top 5. It's so interesting to me that they're in Region 2 this year. I think that's going to be. I mean, at some point, that means a potentially Port Arthur Memorial Denton Ryan matchup. I mean, where would you play that thing? Somewhere in East Texas, Longview,
yeah, Lufkin, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right, man. For that Jason Howell, I'm Ryan Brauninger. Thanks for tuning in to the TexAgs High School Football Show. We'll be right back here with you next week.